Have you been recording? Okay, I'll give you another one just to have two of them. All right, this machine we're going to talk about next is a table saw. Now, there's some things with the table saw that you need to know. Table saw we use to rip, and rip means you go with the grain. Okay, remember we said the miter saw we cut across the grain, the table saw we cut with the grain. Okay, first thing we do is if you want to cut, let's say 3 inches off of this, you don't need to make a pencil mark on this one because you're going to use this. The fence has a little measuring tape measure on it, so we can just use this lever, lift this lever up, and I can blow some dust off of that and scroll this over here to about 3, put the red line right on 3 inches, and then I lock that down into place, and that locks what's called our fence down. Okay, and then what we'll have is in between here, between the inside of this blade and this fence, we'll have 3 inches. Okay? The next thing I want to do is check my height of my blade. You can notice my blade right now is it's not high enough. So over here I have a little crank over here, that adjustment that you can adjust to raise. You just turn it clockwise and you can raise that. Now the question is, how high do you go? Obviously that would be unsafe. That wouldn't make any sense. You don't need it that high. That's just going to hurt you if you would happen to get too close to it. So we want to crank that down, and the ideal way to judge is that 3 teeth are showing. So you just crank that down until 3 teeth are showing, or approximately. Okay, get it close to that, and that way you have no more than what you need. You do need to be raised up slightly, but not more than what you need to. The next thing you're going to do then is place this against the fence. Okay, you'll run it against the fence. You want to make sure that you don't, again, get anywhere near the yellow. And even if inside of here, even with 3 inches where I have it set, I might be safe with that, but I may want to use what's called a push stick. You always want to use a push stick, which you're going to use to push securely down. Kind of split the difference here. Don't put it up against here. Push it up against here, about halfway in between your cut, your distance, and then you're going to push that all the way through. After you get done cutting, don't leave it right there. You want to go ahead and push it off, let your partner, or you can walk around and get it. You don't want to be reaching across the blade or grabbing anything off of here. If there's any scrap hanging, just, again, use the push stick. That's why it's there to get cut up. I'd rather this get cut up, obviously, than your hand. So, again, I'll kind of demonstrate now how to use that. So there's a little button right here to turn it on. We just pull on this, which the reason you pull on it so it's easy to shut down. You can just bump it and it'll turn off real fast if you need to. Again, make sure you turn the dust collector on. I'll leave it off for this case just for audio purposes. Go ahead and turn that on. And make sure I keep, really, what most people have a tendency to do is look where the blade's cutting. And you don't want to look where the blade's cutting. You want to look right here where the material's hitting the fence. If I want this to be 3 inches the entire distance, I have to make sure that this material stays against the fence the entire cut. So I'm really more focused here, but I'm also kind of in my peripheral vision paying attention to the blade because obviously I want to know where it's at all times. So I'm going to start, again, pushing down here, but also pushing kind of at an angle here and making sure that I don't put the line of the cut, I don't want to put my finger back here. Obviously I don't want to go ahead and push that through with my finger in line with the blade. And keep my hand over here, push here, keep it down solid against the table, start pushing it through. If you get where you're uncomfortable or you're within the yellow, go ahead and you have the push stick right here ready. And then push it all the way off. Okay? If there's enough material, you can pull it off, but sometimes you won't have much material, so please don't try to grab it. You should never go within the yellow. If you need to, shut the table saw off. Make sure the blade comes to a complete stop, and then you can get your material. Once it does, you can grab that off and recalibrate this. Okay, so that's the table saw.